How do I stop the search? So this is a comment on Substack, but this is not an isolated case. I get these messages a lot, especially after I wrote my book, You're Not Awakening, You're Just Lonely. Either people write me message or email saying, oh, this book was amazing. I have now stopped the search finally, and you really helped me. Or they say, how do I actually stop the search? And so let's explore this here. The truth is that you cannot stop the search. And we talk about the spiritual search in here. Even though it's not just the spiritual search, it's the search the self-identity is obsessed about. It's searching for approval. It's always looking for something like security, love, maintain its self-image, to be seen as a good person. It's constantly looking. It's in constant search, even without noticing that we're doing it. And for a spiritual seeker who have been dedicated on the spiritual path, or maybe doing years of meditation, it really feels like a scam, because you've been doing so much inner work, and that sensation, it's still there. You have just landed exactly with the old self as before, even though there's some perceived benefits on the way, but the sense of there is still something lacking there, incomplete, is there. And so the self-identity cannot stop the search. It cannot simply decide to stop. Even when people read books about stopping the search, and it makes so much sense intellectually, and it feels like liberating, and it feels like, okay, I got it now, the self itself simply cannot do it. It's made of searching. It's obsessed with searching. It creates realities, imagined realities, personal realities. It basically creates a space where the search is needed. So it feels like it's just has nothing to do with the search, but it has everything to do with the search. It's constantly has to be creating the lack, so the search is perpetuating. So the self cannot do it. But you're not the self. You're not that role. You're not that self-identification. You are what is left without it. And it is simply seeing or looking. That's why investigation or inquiry, deeper looking, is not just a tool. It actually is not a tool at all, because without the self, we don't even know what we are looking for. We're simply looking. It's an open space of investigation. And once we can see, or the seeing happens, and we see the truth, we see the reality, we see what's available, the seeking stops. It's very simple, but by simple, I don't mean easy. It involves feeling emotions. So it's not an intellectual thing. It's not something that I can just decide about, by simply because it sounds like a good idea, simply because it sounds so liberating, or because people talk about it. The self itself is made of suppressed emotions at times when we felt unsafe or unloved. And, often people, at least my clients who come to me, they've been on this spiritual and self-improvement journey for so long. And it starts usually like, they try to improve their relationships and the business, they try to make money. And like none of that really brought them the happiness or the fulfillment or the freedom. So they embarked on this spiritual journey because it sounds more noble. It sounds more important in a way. And it sounds like fix it all solution, because, enlightenment just going to just buy one, get everything else for free. I don't know. It's just going to mysteriously dissolve all the problems. But the one who is looking for this enlightenment, that also turns into a performance, into an self-identity. So the one who is doing the search always comes from lack. And the only way to jump out of this duality, of this circus, of this show, an identity that pretends, that's looking for something, but at the same time, underneath is actually like creates the lack. So it's like this loop. And within that loop, it gets to feel real. It gets to feel that it matters, that it's special and it's doing something important. Like, look at me. I have done like 20 years of meditation. By the way, do you know how to know if somebody meditates? Well, don't worry, they will tell you. They will tell you because it's important. It's most people really, as I'm saying, and if you're one of them, of course, it's not your fault. It's everybody does it. It's what the self-identity does. It turns this really beautiful desire for freedom and liberation and peace and truth. It turns it into a performance, into a role, and then it stays stuck. So that's why sometimes when you are just starting a spiritual journey or self-improvement, or you do some inner child healing, you do therapy, like it can feel really great. It feels like you're doing something, but it just doesn't last. Some people, actually, this is so common. They say, okay, so I've been now feeling, finally I have achieved this peace. It happened to me. I saw through the illusion. I'm enlightened. I'm awake. And it's been like that for, I've been just happy and blissed out for 2 years now until I got into a relationship. So yeah, relationships definitely will bring some identification, some stuff up to the surface to really question again. The self-identity, the person that we believe we are essentially, is either delusional or depressed. So the depression, it can be anxiety, it can be stress, it just feels uncomfortable, it feels like you need to escape it. But the delusion, on the other hand, it's much harder to work with because you don't seek help, you don't seek support or guidance or coaching when you feel delusional. You believe your stories, you believe that you are above everybody else, you believe that you have arrived. But along the way, the search continues. And it will continue as long as you are identified with the story, until you jump out completely from that duality. And I know that some people don't even notice that they are in the mode of performing, that it is a role, because it feels so real. It feels like this is who I am. I mean, this is who I am. I am somebody who has been meditating for so long, and I am somebody who now feels peaceful, who is improved. And that's why I wrote this tiny little book, which is called What Kind of Spiritual Seeker Are You? And it's basically an eye-opening quiz that will save you years in healing and meditation and being on the wrong, if there was such a thing, on the wrong spiritual path, basically just wasting your time in this performance. And you can just download it for free from my website. The link is in the description of this video. Take the quiz and really see for yourself. And this is just not for the beginners. It's really for people who have been already on this path or some sort of self-improvement or spirituality for some time and still feel there is something missing. And as I said, it turns into a performance. It turns into an identification of this spiritual ideal rather than what truly is. And it's so sneaky that we don't consider it, we don't see it. That's why the quiz is so eye-opening, because it will not only tell you what kind of self-identity you identify with, but it also tells you how to jump out of this show, so you can actually know what is the best steps for you or what is available for you from the place without being in that identity. So take the quiz and let me know what you think if you do. As well as if you do have any more questions about this, you can write them in the comments below, or just shoot me a message through my website, which is also in the comments below, in the description of this video, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much for being here, for being on this journey away from seeking and really being open to look for yourself, what is happening underneath. And I am so happy that you are here. Thank you for your support, for your messages, for your emails.
What kind of spiritual